Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So, I'm absolutely pumped you're tuning in today because, well, we're talking about superpowers. Now hold on, I know what you're probably thinking. You're picturing guys in capes, shooting lasers, or turning invisible, right? Actually, scratch that. We aren't talking about comic books today. We're talking about the real world. We're diving into nature's secret superpowers. Specifically, it's a tale of two very different, literally awesome trees that have somehow figured out how to survive and even thrive when everything around them is going totally haywire. So let's jump right into the source material and uncover exactly what their secret superpowers are and, what they can teach us about our own lives.
Okay, picture this for a second. Imagine the absolute most terrifying extreme weather you can possibly think of. Like, the sky turns this angry dark purple, right? The wind is howling so loud it sounds like a literal freight train, and rain is just blasting sideways. You look outside and branches are snapping, trash cans are flying everywhere, and smaller trees are just getting completely ripped right out of the dirt. But then, right in the middle of all that total chaos, there's this one massive tree that just isn't budging. It's standing there taking the hit, almost like it's laughing at the storm. So how do some trees survive the wildest storms when everything else is falling apart? What is their secret?
Well, to find out, we're heading up into the freezing mountains. Section 1, the cedar, surviving the storm.
So the cedar of Lebanon is kind of legendary. It grows way up high in the mountains where the weather absolutely does not mess around. When a massive, violent storm hits, this tree doesn't panic. It doesn't even wobble. It faces the absolute worst nature can throw at it and just shrugs it off. Why? Well, it all comes down to the roots. See, a normal tree might just shoot a few short roots into the soft surface soil, and sure, they grow fast, but those roots are super shallow, so when a huge storm rolls in, boom, blown right over. Soft dirt just can't hold them. But the cedar, it's got a secret weapon. It totally ignores that soft dirt. Instead, beneath the ground, it builds this massive, super strong network of cables down in the rocks. It's basically an underground fortress.
Let's break down exactly how this superpower works. Step 1. The cedar's roots start growing, but they deliberately push right past that easy soft surface soil. Step 2. They keep reaching further and further down into the yielding loam, which is really just a fancy word for looser, deeper dirt. But they still don't stop. Then comes Step 3. The real superhero move. They go so ridiculously deep that they actually hit solid mountain rock. The roots slide right into the tiny cracks and clefts of those heavy rocks and literally rivet themselves in. I mean, they are locked on. They're anchored to the mountain itself.
So what does a giant cedar tree have to do with you and me? Well, just like the cedar, we all face storms. Now, your storm probably isn't an actual hurricane, right? For you, a storm might be moving to a new school or dealing with some really tough stuff at home. Or maybe just feeling totally overwhelmed and anxious. The source material tells us that having deep roots means having a rock-solid faith in Jesus, truly knowing He is the Son of God. And that faith? It acts as our anchor during life's scary storms. We aren't just planted in the soft soil of whatever is easy or popular. We are riveted into the solid rock of God's love. So when life gets crazy, you won't get blown over. Your roots keep you standing strong.
All right, let's leave the freezing mountains behind and head somewhere completely different. Section 2, the palm, green in deserts. Now, if the cedar's superpower is standing strong against the wind, the palm tree's superpower is surviving insane heat and dryness. Our source text points to this really awesome verse in the Bible, Psalm 92, verse 12. It says, "The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree." Flourish, that doesn't mean just barely scraping by. It means thriving, being super healthy, and just bursting with life. But wait, how in the world can a tree be green and full of life when it's literally stuck in a dead, blazing hot desert? No way, right? It sounds totally impossible.
Because let's face it, the desert is brutal. The source describes the sky as looking like hot brass, and there's burning desert sand just piling up in heaps around the trunk. It's a really hostile environment. And the text actually compares this harsh physical desert to things you might face in the real world. Like if you ever had to deal with strangers or scoffers, a scoffer is basically someone who mocks things. Maybe there are kids at school who are just plain mean, making fun of your faith, making you feel like you're walking through a hot, dry desert of unkindness. The sand is piling up and you just can't catch a break.
Yet, despite the crazy heat, despite that brass sky, and despite the huge piles of sand, this tree lives as an evergreen. It stays fresh and vigorous, totally unfazed by the miserable conditions. So what is the secret of the evergreen palm tree? If it isn't getting water from the sky, because it never rains, and it isn't getting it from the surface, where is all that life coming from?
This right here is the palm tree's hidden superpower. If you were to dig away all that hot sand around the trunk, you'd find something wild.
The tree sends these tiny rootlets striking down deep, deep beneath the surface, completely bypassing all the dry, dead sand until it taps into secret, hidden waters way down in the earth. It totally ignores the terrible environment up top because it's got the secret supply of life underneath. And for us, those secret, hidden waters are what we call living water. It's God's unending love and grace. Imagine going to school and someone is being a total scoffer, right? Just teasing you or being unkind. If you rely on the surface, you're going to feel angry, sad, or just totally dried up and defeated. But if you're like the palm tree, you have a secret superpower. You can draw your strength from God's love. His grace is like the secret, refreshing drink for your heart that keeps you happy, fresh, and strong on the inside, no matter how harsh the desert gets around you.
Which brings us to the final part of our explainer today. Section 3, Drinking the Living Water.
Okay, so we know about the cedar's rock-solid anchor, and we know about the palm tree's secret water supply. But how do we actually get this living water for ourselves? Well, Jesus gives us this super direct invitation in John chapter 7, verse 37. He says, "If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink." It literally is that simple. You don't need to go on some crazy treasure hunt. When you're tired or bullied or just overwhelmed, Jesus invites you to come directly to him. He's the fountain. And the absolute best part about this fountain of God's love, the source text promises it never fails. It never runs dry. We can take a huge refreshing drink and draw from it again and again every single day.
When you put all this together, it is just so cool. By connecting to Jesus, we become like the cedar, staying strong in the scary storms because our roots are riveted to the rock. We also become like the palm tree, staying green and happy in the desert, drinking that living water even when people are unkind. But here is where you become a real superhero. You use that strength for helping weary souls. You can spot your tired friends who are getting bullied or feeling lost, and you can gently guide them to that exact same living water so they can drink and be refreshed too.
So I want to leave you with this one big question to think about as we wrap up the explainer. What kind of root are you growing today? Are you letting your roots just sit in the soft, easy surface soil where any little storm can knock you over? Or are you going to choose to send your roots deep into the rock of Jesus' love and tap into that secret living water? The choice is entirely yours. Keep digging deep, stay strong, and I will catch you all on the next explainer.